Okay, welcome to day number 7. Now, you guys have come a long way so far, and I hope you're having some fun. Hopefully, you're driving some traffic, making some money, generating some leads. Day number 7 now, we're going to be kind of recapping some of the stuff we talked about, giving you some hints, and then talking about your email newsletter. And this is what I'm really excited about. So make sure you pay a lot of attention, take notes during the session, because this is going to be a lot of kind of conceptual things you need to start thinking about. A lot of the other videos have been more tactical, like here, do this, do this. This one's going to be more strategic. So what you guys have an open mind and start thinking about some things, because this is really some more of the strategy behind your business and how you're going to be able to take it to the next level quickly. Okay? Again, a recap from yesterday. Make sure that you've gotten your affiliate website generator site set up. If you haven't yet, pause this video, go back and get that set up. Get your hosting with GVO, get your autoresponder, all those things set up as well. And then if you have email sends left over from the free solo ads, go and start promoting your free website offer to some of the lists and start building your GVO downline as well, because it's just another income stream and it's something you guys are going to love, getting checks from that every single month as well. Okay? All right, let's jump into today's training. So what we've done so far over the last 7 days now, first thing we did is we set up your email newsletters. We helped you pick the SLOs that you liked. You created accounts at all the free email sites and started sending out email promotions to the different SLOs. Hopefully you started setting up your free website. And hopefully by now, again, you've celebrated a little bit. If not, you should at least be celebrating the fact you made it to day number 7. At this point, you guys should have gotten traffic. You should have gotten some clicks, some opt-ins, and hopefully some sales as well. And I also congratulate yourself because, again, most people have not made it this far. I promise you that. We can see the logs of how many people go from video to video to video, and the drop-off is amazing. So the fact that you're here means you're serious. You're not someone who's going to give up easily, but you're someone who actually wants this and doesn't just want it, but needs it in their life, okay? And good for you for being one of those kind of people. And I want to keep guiding you along the path and make sure you're going to be successful in this. Sounds good? So now that you're kind of in the process where you're starting to build your list, I want you to understand that you have an asset now that people dream about, and that's your own email list. Okay? If you look at any business, when people buy businesses, they don't buy them because of the products or because of the services. They buy them because of the relationship with the customer list. Okay? Why do you think eBay bought Skype for $4.2 billion, something crazy like that? Okay, they did not buy it because of the technology. eBay could have knocked off Skype in about 30 minutes. They bought it because Skype had the eyeballs. They had the people. Okay? They had the customers, and that's the assets. The only tangible asset we have in any business is our customer list. Okay, every time I ever got in trouble in my business, the customer list is what's bailed me out, okay? Having your customer list is important. So, I'm sure some of you guys are saying, man, Russell, this week I added 100 people in my list, or I added 1,000 people. I have no idea how many people you added, but some of you guys are probably getting people on your list right now, and I'm sure you're probably wondering, now what? Now what do I do? Now, don't worry, next week, after we talk about some of the SLOs during the first part of the week, we're going to start focusing about on how and what you need to be emailing that list. For right now, don't worry, you're fine going a couple days without emailing them, but next week we'll be talking about the how and the what. But today I wanted to cover one really important aspect. And this is an aspect that I call the attractive character. Now, I didn't make up this attractive character stuff. I learned from a guy named John Alanis, and he probably learned from somebody else as well. But it's really one of the key differentiators between businesses that are successful and businesses that are not successful. And that's what I want you guys thinking about this today, because it's going to be such a huge thing for you if you internalize it and you apply it to what I'm going to be talking to you guys about. Okay? So let me kind of really go quickly through what an attractive character is and some examples of some attractive characters, okay? One that I'm sure you've probably heard of before, if you've anywhere in the free world, is Oprah, okay? Now, Oprah is an attractive character. Now, why do you think she's an attractive character? Okay, people are excited by what she's got to talk about, by the stories she tells, by the people she introduces you to, and things like that. Now, obviously Oprah now is no longer on TV, but when she was on, my wife used to TiVo Oprah every single day. And if she ever missed an episode, it was TiVoed and we ended up watching it. And I watched more episodes of Oprah than I would ever dare tell any of my guy friends about, okay? But the reason why is because she's an attractive character. Now, one big thing with internet marketing, people are always concerned, like, well, what if, I don't want to contact my list too often, because what if, I don't want to be annoying. Okay, if you're an attractive character and you do it correctly, you're not going to be annoying. You're going to be exciting and people will want to hear from you. Okay, when Oprah's on the air 7 days or 5 days a week, people logged in every single day and watched for an hour at a time because she was an attractive character and they wanted to hear from her. Okay, so think about people like Oprah. Next person I want to share is a guy named Dave Thomas. I'm sure you guys have heard of him. He was the founder of Wendy's. And what's interesting is they did studies with Dave back when he was still alive. They would put him in commercials, and he hated being in commercials. The people who were filming him hated having him in commercials because he would stutter and he'd be nervous and he'd be awkward and just never really got good at that part of the thing. But when they take him out of commercials, their sales would drop. They put him back in commercials and their sales would skyrocket. Now, why do you think that is? Is it because Dave Thomas is a great salesperson? No, it's because he was an attractive character and people bonded with him. They wanted to be around him. They wanted to support him and his daughter Wendy and those type of things, okay? And that's why they really thrived as a business, is because of Dave as an attractive character. Okay, now some companies, they don't have an attractive character, so they go and they find one. Okay, next picture here on the right is Jared from Subway. Now, Subway used to be a fast food restaurant just like every other fast food restaurant. And somewhere along the line, they decided to differentiate themselves and become a diet plan. So they found Jared, and he was like huge, like 300 or 400 pounds, and they had him eat nothing but Subway for 2 years straight. And from that, he lost all this weight. And they transformed their business from a fast food restaurant to a diet plan. And people who were like Jared, people who were overweight, they were attracted to that. They wanted the same thing in their life. So they started focusing on how can they lose weight as well. Well, I'm going to do it through Subway. Completely transformed their business. Okay? So those are examples of attractive characters that you have probably seen before. Now, I want to kind of go the other direction as well. I want to talk about some attractive characters you probably wouldn't think were attractive at first until you kind of hear the reasoning behind. The next one here on the bottom left hand is Howard Stern. Now, I'm sure most of you guys have heard of Howard Stern. Some of you guys love him. Some of you guys hate him. Personally, I don't care for the guy at all. But what's amazing is the fact that he's got such a loyal following. I think a couple years back, Sirius Radio paid him, I can't remember the numbers, millions and millions and millions of dollars, like $30 or $40 million, to run a radio show on his thing. And the reason why is because there were so many people who were tuned into him. Now, how is Howard Stern an attractive character? Okay, now you think about that. One thing that's interesting is that you look at people that are attractive characters. A lot of times they're weird, they're controversial, they're different. And so he's taken a stance where he's so controversial that people want to hear what he's got to say. In fact, they did a poll of people who were Howard Stern listeners, and they polled people who liked him and people who hated him. And it was like the average Howard Stern listener listened for like half an hour at a time, and the average person who hated Howard Stern listened for like an hour at a time. And it was interesting that even people who hated him were listening to him. And when they surveyed both people, they said, "Why do you listen to him for so long?" And both of them said, "We want to find out what he's going to say next." Okay, controversy does that. It gets people excited. It makes people want to hear what you have to say. Okay, and I'll talk about this more on the next slide, but being, boring, being neutral is not exciting, and people will not follow you. People will not listen to you if you're boring. Okay, next picture here is a guy named the Rich Jerk. Some of you guys may have heard of him. This was an offer that came online probably 7 or 8 years ago now, and when it came online, it became one of the best-selling products in the world that I've ever seen, at least since I've been online. And what's funny is the whole positioning of this was, I'm a rich jerk, I'm better than you, and that resonated with people, and people were attracted to that, and they made millions and millions of dollars because of the character that they created for their business. Okay? Now, the next picture I have here is because you look at TVs, you look at movies, you look at what gets people to go to movies. Okay? Is it the great plot, the great storyline? Okay, at first, no, it's not. What gets people to show to movies is because they want to see Jack Bauer. Okay, that's why I watch 24. I want to see Jack Bauer. He's the attractive character. Okay, Brad Pitt in a movie, people show up to the movie because they want to see Brad Pitt. No, the movie ended up being good. They tell their friends. But the thing that gets people in the seats is the attractive character. Okay, and that's really key here because as you guys are building this list, it's important for you to start developing your attractive character. Why should someone want to listen to you? Why should someone open your emails? Why should they read what you're saying? Okay, and the attractive character you create is what is going to get people to want to be engaged with you. So let me take the next slide and talk more about the attractive character. So here are some of the elements of a good attractive character. The first thing is you need to have a good backstory. Now, every one of you guys has some kind of backstory. Now, if the product you're promoting is .com Secrets X, your backstory could be, up until joining .com Secrets X, I tried this, and I tried this, and I tried this. Nothing made me money. I joined about 30 different products and never once made money. But man, 7 days into the .com Secrets X, I've already got 400 clicks on my website, I've gotten 150 leads, and I made 4 sales. Okay, that could be your backstory. Everyone's got a different backstory. Jared from Subway, his backstory was he was huge, he ate Subway all day, and now he's skinny. Okay, every good attractive character has a backstory. And the importance of the backstory is you are in a spot and now you come up to higher ground. And the customers you're going after, they're in the same spot you were in before, and you're coming back to them saying, look, I was where you were at before, and now I'm where I'm here. I'm giving you a hand to bring you up to higher ground. Okay, so what's your backstory? What's the backstory you have that gets someone to want to come to where you are? Okay, for me, my backstory I talk about when I was in college. If you watch the webinar for .com Secrets X, I talked about college, how I struggled in college. I showed you my college transcripts. I made a 2.3 GPA. Barely graduated from college. But I did it because I loved wrestling. I met my wife. We got married, and I had no money to support us, so I had to figure out a way to make money. I jumped on the internet. I tried thing after thing after thing. I fell for scams. I spent a lot of money. And after 18 months of failure, I finally had success. Okay, how many of you guys does that resonate with? Okay, I'm sure a lot of you guys who've been trying for a year and a half, and you've been trying every single thing, and you've fallen for every single scam, you probably relate to that, because that's the same path I went through. Okay, and that's why I shared my backstory with you before. Okay, next thing is you want to share personal stories or parables to build relationships of trust with your audience. Now, if you've ever watched my seminar videos, if you've ever been on the daily sketch or anything, you notice that I share a lot of stories. I share a lot of parables. Okay, and these parables are important because they I can tell someone like, hey, you need to do this, this, and this. I remember I started telling people about the power of on-site optimization. Now, how boring of a topic is on-site optimization? So I told the concept, this is how it works, and everybody's eyes blank over it. And then I told a little story about how I got ranked #1 in Google for the keyword little snot. And as soon as I told that story, everyone's eyes light up. I tell the experience, and immediately the concept I taught them is now ingrained in their head, and it's tied to little snot. Now they see the power of on-site SEO because I told them that little dorky story. Okay, I tell the story about my potato gun. I tell stories about my wrestling. I tell different stories that have a purpose and a point, because when I tell that parable, it helps people understand concepts, and it bonds those people closer to me. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's the importance behind why you want to be sharing personal stories in your in your communications, in your blog posts, in your product reviews, because it can get people to know who you are and want to hear from you. Okay. The next thing is that every good, attractive character has character flaws. Okay, one of the biggest things people are always scared about is you don't want people to know your flaws. You want to be perfect. But you look at the great characters in comic books. You look at the great characters in movies. Every character has a flaw. Every Superman has kryptonite. Okay. Every single character has a flaw, and those flaws are what make people human. Those flaws are what gets people to like you. Okay, when I tell my stories, I talk about my failures. I tell my failures because then people relate to me. If I talk about every success I had, people will be like, you're such a jerk. You're so stuck up. I hate you. I hope you die. Okay, but if I tell about my successes, about my failures, suddenly I can relate to people, and suddenly they want to be my friends. Okay, so it's important to have character flaws, and all of us have them. So the biggest key here is just don't be afraid to talk about them. Okay, your character flaw could be, I'm one of those people that bought every single biz op out there. Okay, and that could be your character flaw. And tell people that was my character flaw. I bought every single one out there, and none of them worked for me until I finally got focused. Till Russell made me unsubscribe from everyone's email list and focus for 30 days on one program. And then it made me successful. Okay, so very important. Have your character flaws. Next thing is have your strong opinions. Think about Howard Stern. Think about the rich jerk. Think about, think about whoever it is. Being controversial is what gets people to listen to you. Okay, there's an a hate blogger in my industry. Some of you guys have probably seen him before, and he writes horrible things about me and about all the internet marketers online. And he's got huge followings of people now because he's so controversial. Okay, and controversy sells. It gets people excited, it gets people passionate, it makes them want to hear what you have to say. Even if they don't believe you, even if they don't believe the same thing you believe, they're still going to show up, just like Howard Stern, because they want to hear what you're going to say next. Okay, so it's very important to understand that neutrality is boring. Don't be the guy who's trying to please everybody. Be the person who understands that polarity sells. Pick a stance on things and stick to it. Don't flip-flop either. Pick a stance and stick with it, okay? And if you do that, people will be attracted to you, they're going to listen to you, and they're going to want to purchase from you, okay? So those are some of the elements of the attractive character that are very important for you to understand. So my next question is, who are you going to be? Now, I don't share everything about my life with every single person, okay? And that's important as well. It's important to have some privacy, and so I don't share everything. I don't share everything about my life, but there's things that I share. When I first got into this business, my wife and I had just gotten married, and I was wrestling. So I talked about wrestling a lot, and guess what happened? All the wrestlers were instantly attracted to me, all the athletes. I'd go to a seminar, I'd speak, and in the back of the room, back buying my products were always the football players, the soccer guys, the wrestlers, because they said, hey, I'm a wrestler like you, I believe what you're saying, I want in. Okay. Now, what was interesting though is at the time there were no men, there were no women back there, there were no other people. I just get the athletes. The athletes would always relate to me. And so then, fast forward a couple years later, my wife and I got pregnant with twins. And at first I wasn't going to share that with people, but finally I decided I'm going to share that because it's an exciting thing for me and I'm passionate about it. So I shared the fact that I had twins. And what's interesting is that as soon as I did that, a whole new group of people started coming and started paying attention to me. Wives and mothers, all started kind of being more bonded to me, because I had that twin story. And what's funny about twins, for those of you guys who have twins, everybody has a twin story. Either they are a twin, they know a twin, or they at some time in their life had an experience with a twin and they want to share it with you. Okay, when we first had our twins, I was walking down the grocery store and every single person would jump out from behind the sign and say, oh, you got twins, I'm a twin, oh I know a twin, oh one time I saw a twin on TV. They want to tell you their twin story. So as soon as I started sharing my twin story, boom, instantly a whole new group of audience started listening to me and started buying my products and services. Okay? And it's very important to understand that. So find the things in your life you want to share. Now, for some of you guys, you may not want to be an attractive character, okay? If you look at the product review site I'm going to be showing you guys, I set up my product review site under Zuby, the internet marketing newbie. He's a cartoon we created, kind of like the rich jerk. Now, ours guy, Zuby, who's not that smart as opposed to the rich jerk who's a jerk, but he was a character we set up to be the attractive character of that website. So if you don't want to be an attractive character, you can create a character as well, okay? It's a pen name, just like, the famous authors do. They create pen names. I don't care what you do, but create some kind of character that you want to share with people. You look at my business, every one of our offers usually has an attractive character as well. You look at 20-minute payday, I tell the story about Xan and Jen. You look at micro continuity, we share the story about Joy Anderson, because she went through micro continuity, made a micro continuity site and had success with it. And what's interesting is after we did micro continuity, before micro continuity, when you would come to like a Russell Brunson seminar or event, it would be like 95% of the audience were men. Okay, and there'd be 5% of women that were there, but mostly it was men. And then after we did micro continuity, which we case studied Joy Anderson, she was the attractive character of that site. We case studied her story, we talked about it, and what was interesting is that the very next event, the audience was 50-50 men and women. And we surveyed the people afterwards, and the women almost unanimously said, we want to be like Joy Anderson. Okay, amazing. Then fast forward about a year later, we launched 20-Minute Payday, and that one we shared Xan and Jen Spencer's story. That was the story we kind of headlined with because the content was the same content they went through. And the next event, tons of young married couples were in our audience, and it was the most amazing thing. And same thing, we want to be like Xan and Jen. So again, different things you put out there are going to attract different people. So you want to, the first step here is decide what elements of your attractive character you want to share with people. And again, you don't have to share everything about your life, but find the things you do want to share. The next thing is that the communication through your email list, through your review website, your blog, all these things are going to be happening with the attractive character. And again, we'll be talking about that more in week number 3. But I want you guys to start thinking more about this and start thinking more about this part of the business because it's so much more important than you will ever believe. Okay, and again, next week I'll be teaching more on the how to do this, and then the week after we're actually going to be doing it with your review website. So for now, just understand that this is kind of your goals to figure out who are you going to be in the eyes of your audience. So your homework for today should be kind of a fun one. First thing is think about your attractive character. Think about who you want to be, and then write it out. Write out what is your backstory. What's the exciting thing about your story that people would want to hear about? And then figure out what are different personal stories that have happened to you that can become parables that you could share with your audience. Okay? What kind of character flaws are you willing to share with other people? I know some character flaws we don't want to share, but what are the ones you're willing to share with other people that'll make you seem more human so they'll relate to you and they'll be bonded to you? And the last one, what kind of opinions do you want to share? What are the things you want to go out there and you want to tell people this is what I believe, this is what I do, and those type of things. Again, start mapping out your attractive character right now because we're going to be using it again here in the very near future. Okay. Now, right now, I want to congratulate you guys. You have made it through 7 full days, an entire week. You've made it through this coaching program, and hopefully you started seeing some results. And for a lot of you guys, it's probably the first time you've ever seen results online, even no matter how small they are. And I want you to be encouraged by that because it's only going to get better from here, okay? These are all building blocks and step-by-step thing we're doing to gain momentum, and this was step number 1, okay? Now, next week, we're going to be focusing on solo ads, and this is a bigger step, okay? It might cost a little bit of money to invest in some of these ads, but the return on this is going to be amazing to you. You'll start seeing when you put $100 in, you get $200 back out. Okay, it's like gambling, except for it's calculated risk. Okay, and that's my favorite thing about it. We still laugh like we'll buy an ad, we'll put in $400 and make $2,000 back. I said, man, how many times should I do that a day? Okay, you're doing that all day long, and that's what you're going to learn next week with solo ads. So I hope you guys are still jazzed and excited and motivated because next week's going to get even better. And I want to make sure you guys are here on the front row paying attention. So with that, do your homework tonight, and we'll start focusing tomorrow on solo ads, and you guys are going to love it. It's going to be a fun process for everybody. So thanks so much, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.